I am here at Queen's Park. I'm having difficulties with the phone already. Sorry we're running late. The beach was so cool. Have we even got anyone watching? I'm not sure. And I am having some awful difficulties right now with my stream. Here we go. There we are, Toronto's Queen's Park. And if I just bring you up, here are some familiar scenes. The sun is coming out. I'm overdressed probably. When I left the house it was very grey, overcast, quite cool. But the sun is beginning to pop out. So it's a different protest today at the Queen's Park. You don't see the amount of protesters that we normally do, that we would see in around the statue there, but that's because the government people have gone back to work today, and already I can feel the heat of that sun on my jeans and my body warmer. So maybe not the numbers that we normally see, but we do got some people outside the building itself. So I'm trying to show you around, just around what we're looking at. And I do got problems going on with my phone right now. It's glitching already. It's starting to pull out apps up that you can't see on your side of the screen, but my side of the screen, I've got all sorts of goings on. So I'm not sure how much or how long, or if we are even filming right now. But something's going on for sure with my phone. All right, I think we might be good now. So there's only a few people here, not many people at all it looks like. So you can see the building, there's the flag, some of those weird wispy clouds again. As I said guys, when I left there wasn't a patch of blue, it was grey, 14 degrees, and already it's starting to get hot, and the weather has been very strange recently. I don't even know if we've got anybody watching right now. Alright, you have no idea what's going on my side of the camera. And once again, we are going to be in direct sunlight to some of the buildings.
So fear propaganda, right? What else I can tell you? We're here for the kids. You know, I have a 4-year-old myself. We have a lot of children, right? We're not fighting for our future. We're fighting for the future of the next generation.
Good to see you. Nice to see you too. God, not so many people here.
Well, we didn't expect that many. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit more, but it's all about Saturday. This is really because one of the politicians is secretly going to come out and give us public support.
Really? And shouting and attacking people.
Really?
Yeah.
And nobody just like grabbed her.
But there's only like 3 people. There was me and a couple of little old Asian ladies sat on there, and they were like looking frightened, and she was storming up and down, and they stopped the streetcar down. I had to walk from pretty much Spadina.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it's good to see some people here anyway.
Well, I got interviewed by CTV and Global, so they put that shit on TV.
Finally.
Well, they can't ignore us forever.
No, I mean, that's kind of part of the parcel. I mean, I'm not exactly media, but I'm giving at least the option. Yeah, there's no mainstream, but that's why I've kind of been covering this for as long as I can. It's good to see a few.
Representative government.
Do you know what time the politicians coming out?
Should be coming out any minute. It started at 10, and they usually
very important. So, you know, we don't want
anyway,
we never voted for an
I'll catch you guys soon.
Autocracy, there we go. For an autocracy. We don't want a dictatorship. We are the free West. We're the strong.
How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well.
You know, this is the free world. I mean, if we don't stand up for each other, what do we have? You know, I grew up right here in Toronto. I was born just down the street and around the corner at Women's College Hospital. I am Native African, Irish, and most importantly, I am Canadian.
And human.
Our children
It's for luck.
are everything. Doesn't matter what our differences are, doesn't matter where we come from, what we believe in, who
No,
we
they're
pray
my
to.
little lucky
We have
mascot.
one shared obligation.
I give them out on my
and that
channel.
is to provide our children with a better world
To my
than
close
we were
friends,
given.
you can make some earrings.
Period. And we cannot do that if we don't have the ability to have our own opinions, make our own choices, and have control over our own individual lives. So everybody needs to keep these things in mind. So this is like the most important thing in the world. It's our kids. You know, that simple. So we're going to take a little bit of a break now. We're going to have a very special speaker come out and speak to everybody and say hello. And then hopefully we'll get Vlad and Chris to come back up because I just love hearing them two go on. So hopefully everybody will mingle and mix, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you.
Anyway, it's good to see you. I just wanted to hear what they had to say. I'm live at the minute. Hey, good to see you as well. Some familiar faces. So there's another Philip. Say hi, Jenna. You're part of the fam now. I said you're part of the fam now. So good to see some familiar.
I have to watch all the card games.
Why not? The card games are fun. Some of those ladies down in the south, they go crazy for that. They're throwing chips in and everything, like they're on The Price is Right. But sometimes it can't always be about the doom and the gloom. And you've got to kind of balance out a little bit of fun and entertainment. Oh, we got mainstream media here today. CP24 just arrived, someone said.
CP24 pulled up, but did they come out?
Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of mingling. Very good to see you. Hey, you got a hug? Nice to see you. God, I was running late. I was just saying to Chris, I had a tweaker incident on the streetcar. They stopped the streetcar, had to get the fare inspectors in and drag this lady off that was harassing people. She was pacing up and down. I don't think she had any money or something. And she was harassing like passengers, the driver, and then eventually they brought everything to a stand. It's gridlock, or it was when I left. I had to walk from nearly Spadina. So I wanted to be here earlier.
You're here.
But I am here, but the guy's coming out in a minute, so at least I'll be able to get that. I don't even know if I'm still recording at the minute.
Them already recording. Chris went up already at the last.
And I've overdressed again. Look, we've got some more chemtrailing. Did you see those peculiar... I know. Well, I was out yesterday filming. There's some strange... Hey, here's
Nice.
How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Stan.
Cunley Lime, give us a wave.
Hello there.
What's that say? The True North? What does the t-shirt say? Bad test, the bad numbers. CPCR test. There we go.
That's right.
So not so many people here, but
I wanted to ask you the other day when we were hanging out. You mentioned that was the guy who allegedly killed that guy. Was he arrested and committed suicide? Was that true, or was that?
I haven't really looked at it so much. I kind of was a little bit busy Sunday after we kind of got together, and I had some work of my own to do. And then yesterday again, I was doing some projects. So I haven't really
what that source was.
yeah, but I can send you some links and stuff when I get to sort of sit down and get back to it. But I haven't really looked into much from sort of Saturday and the weekend until.
No problem. No problem. I was going to talk to somebody about it, like how convenient, you know.
Yeah, well, another interesting thing that I saw. Do you remember the guy from the Cash Cab? The quiz show. There's a guy who used to drive around in a cab, and then passengers would get in and he'd ask questions.
Oh no, I don't know that one.
Do you remember the Cash Cab? The quiz show?
Yes.
Okay, well, another picture I seen today. Yeah, there used to be one in Toronto, and there used to be an American version. But they're saying that the cop, looks very much like the Cash Cab actor. And I've seen pictures of it too. So they look very, very similar. But, you know, it's just, I can't confirm it or not confirm it. There's somebody else. How are you doing, brother? You too, no problem. So I think I might have to take my jacket off briefly because it's getting a little bit warm. Oh, and here's another.
Use your phone now.
So let's have another little walk around over here, see if there's anything going on. A couple of cops over there. As I said, it is getting warm. have a little look who's here, who's not. Only a handful of folks, as you can see, guys. I might go and perch myself down over here on the step, get out of the shade for a little while, see if I can see if anybody is watching or not. So that's where I'm kind of heading for now. When the person comes out a little bit later, we might be able to get closer. Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm just getting some shade. Alrighty. So let me see if I can see if any of you guys are watching. So I can see Judy Bell. Hello. Have you got anyone watching at all here right now? Hey, how are you, man? Sorry, I'm just checking my feed to see if I'm streaming or not. Good to see you. But I overdressed for this occasion. Look up there, the sunshine is out. Probably shorts and flip-flops would have been better, but it wasn't too warm when I did left. We've got anyone? It says there's 2 people right now. I don't know if that is. Alright, at least I just typed the live, even though nobody's given me any comments or feedback. Yes, that would be nice. Encoding or streaming is encoded. Alright. But anyway, guys, as I said, I'm kind of sitting in this statue. Just because there's a little bit of shade, the sun is coming out. Oh my word, there's a troll behind me. Let me move out of the way. He's clambering around. So as I said, just a little bit of shade is welcome right now, because I'm thinking, again, I'm going to be very, very overdressed. So anyone, please give me a sign that someone's alive there. In the chat, that would be greatly appreciated, because as I said, at the minute I feel as though I'm talking to myself and there's nobody here. Anyone?
So I would like to say a few things, just to make it clear, because there is a very, very serious confusion going on, and it is spread through false information through the media, and everybody should be aware. If a doctor is not a virologist, nor has ever been licensed in virology or molecular bioscience, they do not know what they're talking about in regards to infectious disease. They cannot because they do not license, and we are going to hold them accountable. We are going to hold them absolutely accountable. That is malpractice, period. There's just no other way around it. So, the sharing of information, they're absolute lies. So when it comes to modeling, if I were to enter into one of those modeling systems that, let's say, M&M's, some Mars bars and some Snickers, obviously the result is going to be that I like chocolate. Do you understand? Like, it's like, this needs to be explained to people, because that's how false information spreads. So many people believe that, oh, why don't you listen to the experts? Why don't there's experts? They're not experts. They're liars. It's that simple. Everything is simple. Words are the most important part of civilization. Because it's the words that define the laws that keep peace amongst various individuals in a collective, so that we can live together in harmony, prosperity, abundance, and be represented by the government. We don't serve them, they serve us. So I just wanted to make those few points clear. Thank you very much.
Oh, hey Maida Montana, hey Kaz, at least I got some folks here, so that's given me some reassurance that we are live. So it is a little bit quiet here. There aren't the numbers that we see on Saturday. Saturday is the
come on up here and say a few words. I suggest
main
everybody
event.
listens to what he's got to say.
Okay, let's go in and get a little bit closer. We want to get a Lamont, see what Lamont has to say.
Thanks everybody. First of all, as you know, some of the yelling I've been doing on the ground has systematically taken my voice away a little bit, but now that the passion is involved and I have a really great microphone in front of me, I'm really excited. So here we go. First of all, good morning to everyone. My fellow polite patriots, the Honorable Randy Hillier and fellow ministers of parliament who are inside, distinguished guests, and media agencies of Canada. My name is Lamont, and I am the Toronto lead for a Canada-wide group called the Celebration of Freedoms and Rights. I am also here to support our brothers and sisters for creating Fearless Ontario. 6 weeks of constant support here that started with 175 people right down here has brought us to this day. So a wide range of applause for all of you for being here. Thank you. As you can tell, I have a tan, so I'm enjoying outside. I don't have to live my life like they're telling me. I have a really great haircut because I get a haircut. I deal with network chiropractic because I want to get chiropractic care. I do live my life. So, a bridge between our God, given right for revolution, gathering, and protest has brought us here today. A connection between our political needs and the needs of the people to work together to finally create a new normal world together. Considering there are so many issues that are plaguing Toronto, Canada, and the world at large, I decided that it made sense that I be involved with an umbrella organization, such as Celebration, that could support every concern that we're facing today. To be there, especially for those who are new to this information, to reassure them that this was not a conspiracy theory, and that my tinfoil hat was actually silver hair that came from me from all the challenges that got me here today. Our fellow Torontonians have been trained for years by elected officials to hate us, report us, and call us yahoos. The people that snare at us and sneer at us through their death masks because we choose to stay alive and be in our right to become freedom and to choose that way of life. Here was my deep question that isn't new for people who have empathy for life. Why are humans having such a hard time understanding how to be happy and healthy? I quickly understood through David R. Hawkins and Paramahansa Yogananda that people had to go through their own karmic lessons in this lifetime's soul journey. And what was my part to play in that? My mission is to now find out that people who are looking for the answers, and quite frankly, here you are with us today. Give yourselves a hand. The reason my voice is rough is because I've been doing a lot of yelling for the people that are out there who don't have a voice. The ones with the golden handcuffs, the ones with the family, who have a mortgage but not a house, who don't really own anything, just a lot of debt, surrounded by neighbors who snitch on them, living with kids who ask social media contacts about life hacks instead of asking their parents for help. There are more people out there with dogs because it's easier to have a connection with your dog than an actual human connection. That's the way we live today. Buying more products online instead of enjoying going in public, the human interaction, and keeping local stores alive. Now that the agenda is in full force, in every way, the system has been created to keep us disconnected. Look at what's happening with social distancing, masks, calling on your neighbors. It's called social disconnection, and this is what they're trying to do to us. Think about this. When you're not next to your fellow human being with that heart chakra energy that's supposed to be there forever with us to help us at this next level in life, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting everybody else. For over 25 years, I've been noticing how virtually every segment of society has been a lie. I've been paying attention to the fact that every time Health Canada has a chance to make a healthy decision, they don't. Based on what the public could use for their own health-boosting measures, they destroy it and hold farmers thrown in jail for giving them raw milk. Pharmaceutical companies produce vaccines and pills that have chemicals that maim or kill us slowly via side effects labeled on the packaging themselves. Unless you pay a fortune, manufacturers create goods with planned obsolescence in mind. Teachers who enjoyed teaching our children now become slaves, hating their jobs and the children they were deemed to protect. Our leaders rob or pillage or influence their corporate and pharmaceutical benefactors. And don't even start me on looking into my beautiful skies, knowing full well that planes are spraying me with toxic chemicals, with heavy metals into my human consciousness. Destroying local agricultural means disconnecting our brains from unity consciousness. I could go on forever, but I'm not here to remind you of what you already know, and that's why you're here. I'm here to remind you that I will never personally stop standing here shouting at the people of Toronto to wake up to the tyranny of lies. I'm interested in building the ethical culture of universal humans that can start thinking ahead for a better world. I recently dissolved my corporation because after these times it made it too difficult for me to carry on a business since 2012's. This made more sense to me right now. All right. As much as some of my friends here right now have spouses that are using this issue to keep our children from us, my ex-wife is keeping my daughter away from me right now because of my involvement with this cause. People are scaring her into thinking that I'm going to infect my daughter with my sickness because I'm walking down and licking statues. That's what they think I'm doing. That being said, we are here today to start somewhere strong. We all have stories of the day. It brings us closer. It won't be easy, but it'll be the right way. We need to address the emergency measures that need to be put down so we can carry on with draining our Canadian swamp. Yes. That's the main issue we're here for today, but I want to remind you that there are some main issues that we want to deal with before we deal with some issues that they don't want to talk about right now, and that's okay. Number one, ending the lockdown so that people can heal from the mental health wounds while they still have functionability in their lives, right? Open Canadian business so that we don't completely lose the lifeblood community of human needs and interaction. And finally, mandatory vaccinations. Trust me when I tell you, it'll be a cold day in heaven before anyone forces me into anything that messes with what God gave me to be an angel on this damn earth. I love so many of you for being here right now, and quite frankly, I'm only up here because I have to be. I would rather be shutting the hell up and being in the audience with you, helping you get up here and giving me your message. So that being said, let me get some people up here with testimonials and stories around why they're here today. And every day we have to be here until we have to be back to a new normal. Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Thank you. Aho.
Wonderful. That was absolutely wonderful. So now we'd like to have a few people with their stories come on up and share with you guys, because it's important that we all connect on these kind of levels. Matthew, would you like to come up, please? Thank you so very much. Everybody say hello to Matthew.
I love you all too. I love everybody in this world, and that's what I'm actually here. I'm going to digress away from most of the opinions and things and come really to address the root cause of what's going on. I have a small announcement mostly based around what one person can do is the big question that we always ask ourselves. So please bear with me. I am actually about to put myself up for everyone. Not many of you know. Sorry about that. I am a messenger. Not many of you know me. Simply, I am a messenger for those down and broken. I have gone after a record for cancer and recently performed a hunger strike for mental health. Since I spoke out in October, many lean on me for direct support, as the system does not actually help most of us. Our allies are fighting our fight for us without our say. Suicide awareness should be distress awareness to start. It's been about 13 years since I started paying real attention to myself and others. Since then, what I have watched and realized about mental health and its key factors in oppression of all levels. In October, I was done suffering quietly, as I had learned to do. I stood up and was understandably overshadowed by the election. I spent 10 days streetside in Nathan Phillips Square with no food and shelter, rain or not, to promote that double stigma, invisible illness is ripping us apart, and mental health is stuck, completely oppressed, and very quietly and subtly discriminated against. I stand and say mental health is visible, for which a hashtag had never been used. Puzzles people, that fact. No one disagrees that it's not, yet I don't see it being used. Mental health, for mental health, by mental health, survivors proven stronger, faster, better out the other side. I choose a hunger strike, as I am a second-generation intersectional feminist. I truly believe in intersectionality and its ability to promote healing from within when truly adopted. To understand, we are all held down for many reasons, with none greater than the other, because one is only ever part of the equation of suffering. I truly believe a new movement of true inclusivity will be the thing to unite unite our world to heal and grow. I believe mental health is a foundational component that connects us all, no matter race, gender, religion, creed, sexual preference, and class, to name a few divides. I really believe it is one of the important keys. It is also a very neutral place to be heard. All the experts, agencies, and doctors, everyone has cautioned the governments of the grave impacts to mental health through this. We got an extra help.
It has saved mine.
They always have. The key now is to make extra care for those at risk. Should have been the way all along. Why was our infrastructure not incorporating the sick all along? Our lack in preparation was not supplies, but in understanding. Ever since entering the workforce, all I have ever seen is people accosted and pressured to work through mental. That is the core of where we went wrong in the first place. We did not have a functional way of life to incorporate something like CoV, SARS-2. Again is first reminds the government of what happens when they push too far, but incredibly peacefully. Second, it speaks to what not respecting mental health and supporting it can do and lead to: homelessness and starvation, leading to life-threatening distress. Even sometimes a fear to eat out of one's cupboards for uncertainty of when they will be full again can stop you from eating. You say to yourself, I'll have to be hungry at some point, might as well be now, and the sight, it can at least comfort me. A horror I wish no one would ever have to live again. There are so many starving and suffering in isolation right now unjustly. Who will be atoning for their deaths? No one, not even a microorganism. Society takes responsibility in extreme rarity for people dying of mental health distress and hunger, often just blaming the infrastructure or worse, an individual cast out to suffer from misunderstanding they only needed real love and support for the pain they are going and have been through. People are now forced into this mental space at mass now. I have seen enough. We are about to overlap a larger pandemic if we do not act now. What can one person do? I know what I'm going to do. Strike and stand up for everyone. A mobile hunger strike is perfect. It speaks to the root issue that lockdown causes more through isolation and starvation aspects while respecting the current rules. I'm hoping to be a beacon to call those in hiding out to Queen's Park to fight Wednesday, tomorrow, and Saturday, rain or shine. Also a message to our Mayor, Premier, Prime Minister, and all the elected officials of Canada and the world: you can't keep us all down. We will stand and fight with peace and love as we have done before. It is time to end lockdown and resume life, rebuilding better with ingrained consideration for the sick and at risk that we should have had before. We need middle ground. I'm watching North America deteriorate over 2 tragic deaths between Regis and George. I'd like to take a moment for them now. I see a battle for rights waged far too long. Talk of starting a race war that has existed before I was born. At the core, 2 cases using mental health to justify death. I have had enough. We must stand and unify on what is at the core of what everyone is fighting for: peace, love, compassion with intersectional understanding. Starting tomorrow, this is what I will walk day and night, not eating, along University Avenue for. Toronto's beacon for health, for everyone tired of the violence and suffering. I will hold myself hostage so that society does not have to be. I would like to finish with a poem I wrote and a small note that I do have medical backing. I have a licensed paramedic that is in contact, and I will openly state here that he will have my medical decision-making legal rights in his hand to protect myself from my own determination for this cause. I'd like to read my poem, An Eternal Warrior's Heart's Creed, that came from this struggle and this plight, and I will leave the mic to everyone else. When everything is rest, everything is at calm, everything is at peace. I cannot, will not be. I feel the need for rest. the need for calm, the need for peace from all others but me. I see the cry for rest, the cry for calm, the cry for peace from all others but me. When everything is at rest, everything is calm, everything is at peace. I simply cannot be until everyone and everything can say, I am me. From this place I will fight for you in your most desperate silent need. For I hear you in your silent cry. I hear you, I see you, I feel you in your pieces, peacefully left be. When everything is at rest, when everything is calm, when everything is at peace, this is why I cannot, will not just be. I weep not for me, but for all that cannot be. I will slave, I will serve, I will give all of me. I cannot, will not be at peace, be calm, at rest, until every last soul may find that which they yearn for till arrest. I will stand, I will fight, I will weep, I will carry the plight. I will call out to those too battered to carry on. No more do you fight alone. Rest now, for I see your tender yawn. For I hear you in your pieces peacefully left be. I will not waver, I will stand strong as a beacon to a new world at rest, calm, peacefully we all now freed. Only then will I rest, only then will I find calm, only then will I be at everlasting peace, never more peacefully pieces to bleed. Until that day or my last given breath, I will fight. This I give to you all, my deepest warrior's creed. My name is Matthew Haley. I am but a humble messenger of those too tired and weak to speak out. I only wish the best of everything always. May Source, God, Allah, the Creator or creation in whatever form feels right in your heart, bless and watch over you all. Thank you.
Very, very touching, very touching and very, very emotional. I would like to take this opportunity to invite Ayesha. You want to come up? Okay. Everybody please welcome her.
That was very powerful. Thank you, Matthew. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. That was very powerful. Even yeah. So, hi everybody. My name is Ayesha, and okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. My name is Ayesha, and I'm a mom. I'm an immigrant. I came here about 14 years ago for a better life, for freedom. That's what attracted me to come here in Canada, and I'm just here to. Lives have been turned upside down by COVID-19 lockdown. Spring break was cancelled. Summer camps were cancelled. Going to parks and recreation is cancelled. Visiting family and friends is cancelled. Attending school is cancelled. Speaking to a guidance
doing their job. They're not holding politicians accountable. There is one law, and there is one law for all. No man is above the law. Yes. So why is Mr. Trudeau not being held accountable?
According to Canada law right now.
You can file charges if I like to press charges. So I like to file
educating my daughter, cleaning, cooking, and training to keep my child safe, healthy, and happy.
Representing officers.
59% of speech and they're interrupting with about their child's mental health. 42% of parents could keep up with their homework, so which means that the 58% are not able to help their kids with their homework. 36% are juggling work from home and taking care of children amid coronavirus pandemic. So it has really stopped the parents from achieving their own personal goals, and they're stuck at home taking care of their children. DocForce plan to reopen the first stage of economy does not consider any benefit to families with children and youth. Schools, daycares, and parks who, like me, are struggling to find a work-life balance without the villages. Why is that marina and golf clubs are the first to reopen, but daycare, school, and parks are not? What is the plan for those who are privileged to join what is the plan for those who are not privileged to join expensive golf memberships? Emerging data continues to suggest that children and youth comprise a minority of COVID-19 diagnosis. Children and youth represent only 4.7% of confirmed cases. Sorry, it's okay, you're good. You're good. And yes, and 1% of total hospitalization, and 2 children admitted to the ICU, and 0 death. So children are less likely to contract coronavirus. Why have we shut down our schools, daycares, and why have we also shut down our parks and camps? Additionally, contact tracing, which I don't agree with, in the USA and China has determined that major factors for acquiring COVID-19, I'm just reading you the research because, we got to keep it very, I like science, I love science, so I got to keep it very scientific, of acquiring COVID-19 in childhood is household exposure from adults. So the kids the ones that are getting coronavirus is through the adults. So children are more likely to contract coronavirus from adults in household. Aside from coronavirus, what else do children contract from staying home and social isolation? Research suggests that 88% of children between the ages of 6 and 18 are unhappy about being socially isolated from friends amid coronavirus outbreak, and 35% are worried about falling behind in school. The survey also reported children feeling anxious, bored, fearful, and worried. Is education non-essential? Not forget about children who are lacking social support and are especially vulnerable. Those who live in, those who are suffering from child neglect and poverty. With 0% mortality rate in children and youth, the threat to their health and safety from coronavirus is gone. The federal, provincial, and municipal government fail to consider scientific data, continue to perpetuate fear through media, and fail to make any informed decisions for the betterment of our children. All in all, they encourage doing the very things, which is staying home, that cause coronavirus. The government should be held responsible and liable for the irreversible damage and destruction they've caused to our children's future. 3 months ago, we were told to physically distance to stop the spread and protect the vulnerable, and there was empirical evidence to support that. We listened and we complied. 3 months later, the lockdown is causing more harm to individual families, vulnerable businesses, and economy overall. A recent study done by JP Morgan suggested that infection rates in numerous countries continue to fall after lockdown. When we reopen, Canada is going to be following them too. So, and I'm going to critique them for those of us who have kids. So the more, the first one was the more. I only selected 3. There were a bunch of them, but for the time convenience, I only did 3. So the first one is the more people a student or staff member interacts with, the longer the interaction, the higher the risk of COVID-19 spread. I don't agree with it. This is what herd immunity or herd protection does. When most of a population is immune to an infection, this is what it means. It's like herd immunity, but it means that most of the population is immune because of their contract with with an infection. Herd immunity is achieved through vaccines or population exposure to the virus. Not everyone will want to get a vaccine. I surely do not consent to toxic material, DNA altering material, and immune suppressing materials being injected into me. Not to mention aluminum and which causes Alzheimer's, and mercury, which is highly toxic. How come we are being conditioned to be fearful of coronavirus socially? I don't really understand that. But we are being told that the vaccine itself which have many deadly toxins, including the dead coronavirus strain that they're going to be using, it is okay to be injected in us. In a trial, I'm just going to put a study here. In a trial, all monkey injected with COVID-19 vaccine tested positive or contracted the coronavirus. So vaccine is not the answer. Without a vaccine, the rate for healthy individual is, without a vaccine right now, 99% of the population is coronavirus free right now. With a flu vaccine, still 45,000 to 60,000 people die annually in Canada. That's with a vaccine. So without a vaccine, we're doing so much better. So my question that I want to leave you with is coronavirus vaccine going to eliminate coronavirus, just like how the flu vaccine eliminated the flu? Exactly. Schools are and the second one, this is the second point that I didn't agree with. School may consider implementing several strategies to encourage behavior that reduce the spread of COVID-19. Okay, I agree with staying home if you're not sick. Sorry, if you're sick and you're not feeling better, stay home. I agree with that. And I also agree with following the proper hygiene. I don't agree with face coverings, and I definitely don't agree with using I do not agree with face coverings. Virologists wear a special face mask that protects them from the virus. Tell me how a cloth face coverings or a bandana is going to prevent us from contracting a virus. Is it about compliance or is it about safety? Viruses are microscopic organisms, which are actually dead, and can pass through the mask coverings. 2 children in China died from wearing a mask during gym because they were inhaling carbon dioxide. Many people pass out during jogging while wearing a mask, and wearing a mask blocks our intake of oxygen, and children especially need oxygen to learn and to focus and to actually survive. So that's why I'm against it, and I'm challenging their face coverings, and I wouldn't want to put my child into a face mask. The other thing was that that they mentioned that I don't agree is develop a schedule for increased routine cleaning and infection. Discourage sharing of items that are difficult to clean or disinfect. I wonder whatever happened to the scientific discoveries that came out before coronavirus pandemic. An article called "Disinfectant Bad for Microbes, Bad for You" was cited that both the FDA and CDC recommends consumers to simply wash their hands with plain soap. That's not with the antibacterial soap. And over-purchasing over-the-counter hand sanitizers. Jack Gilbert, a scientist who studied microbial ecosystem and who wrote the book Dirt is Good, says that dirty pacifiers that fell on the floor, if you just stick it to your mouth and lick it, and then pop it back to the little Tommy's mouth, it's actually going to stimulate their own immune response. The immune response is going to become stronger because of it. So whatever happened to the science that came out prior to coronavirus, are we just going to ignore it? Are we just going to ignore everything that we've studied about science just because this new novel coronavirus, which is no more or less than a flu or SARS that's going on, are we going to ignore all of it and we're just going to have a new science? What's going on? So we have to really take into consider the scientific discoveries when we are trying to make a plan for our kids' futures. That's the point. I'm super nervous. I've never done this before.
So now I would really like to take this opportunity to welcome a very special guest, a man who does believe in democracy, who stands up for the people, who is not afraid to stand up for the people. Please, can I welcome the Honorable Randy Hillian? Thank you.
Everyone for being here today, and not just today, but for all the days that you've been out. Today is especially important, though. Today, there is another vote in the House, another motion in the House to continue with the state of emergency. I'll be voting against that continuation.
We'll be voting for you.
And the motion's going to pass, though, and I will, But saying that, I know that everything that you're doing here and everything that you have been doing has been making a big impact. I've talked with many members I've talked with many members who are not satisfied and not happy with the government's position, but unfortunately, due to party discipline and constraints, they don't have quite the same freedom as I do to speak my mind or vote the way that I think is important. But and I'll just say this state of emergency is, I believe there was merit in the very early days of COVID.
Yeah.
I believe that the Legislative Assembly was going into a 10-day recess. So the elected members would not have been in a position to deal with COVID, that emerging situation. That, of course, those circumstances that were back in March are not present today. There is no emerging crisis. There is no emergency. We've been into this now for 13 weeks. There is nothing emerging today that we don't already know.
Well, then why the 28
there is
days?
Why
the 28 days? If there's no emergency, why the 28 days again?
You'll have to get a response from Doug Ford.
Well, why isn't he out here responding then?
What about the school
closures? Hold on.
Let him talk.
I don't speak.
No, let him talk.
I don't speak for others. I speak for myself. I speak as an elected member for Lanark Frontenac.
Thank you.
That's why I don't believe that there is anything that is on the horizon that an elected representative democracy is not better suited to deal with than a single COVID command table made up of unelected, unaccountable people. And I will also have to say this. There's one of the things that are about an emergency situation, when we bestow emergency powers into an individual, that is expected, and it comes with a sacred trust, a trust to use the powers wisely, cautiously, and to use those powers. That's not what we're seeing happening today. So, just to fill people in, the motion will be debated this afternoon. I'm unsure when it will be voted on. This motion will pass in all likelihood. So I've tabled an amendment that would at least compel this COVID command table to be open, transparent, and accountable about what the decisions they make.
Yes.
So, I'm going to finish this off shortly, wrap this up. You are making a difference.
Yes,
right?
we are.
You are making a big difference.
Yeah.
But I can assure you that you're making a difference in putting those cracks into those parties and giving them pause and cause to think critically for a change, to think about the people that we're here to represent, not the parties that we may or may not belong to. So I want to say, this is not over today. This is certainly not over today. Tomorrow, in all likelihood, will be the vote. Come out often. Speak out always.
Yes. Yes.
Speak out. Communicate. It does work.
Yes.
That's what works in a democracy. A democracy is a two-way street. It's not just decisions coming from there over to here.
Right.
It is expressing and demanding recognition of concerns from here into there.
It's bottoms up, sir, not top down.
Again, I want to thank everybody. I'd like to be here for an extended time. However, I'm going to go back into the legislature.
Can you please ask everyone who's voting to think about their families and their friends and how they want to live their future? Could you please bring that up?
Their future, the future of their children.
Listen, I
know you said something about party, but they don't care about it. We need individuals.
Well, no, this is not about. Listen, there are people that care, and there's people that care.
Let them talk.
There's people that care.
You guys need to believe in God. That's what you need.
Do people in the government know there's a plan shut down in September, October? There's going to be, do you guys already know? There's a planned massive shutdown of the public in September, October. Do people know that? Okay. Thank you.
Keep it up. Keep fighting. Keep speaking out. Send emails. Be on Twitter. Be on Facebook. Be whatever. Do whatever. Voice your concerns. Express yourselves, and you will make the difference you're looking for. Thank you.
Randy Hillier, everybody. There are people within this house that do stand for democracy. They do care about you. They do want to serve and represent democracy and each and every individual. Every Canadian. Your voice does matter, even those who are very emotional. And I don't blame them. You can't blame anybody for feeling so emotional. Our children are oppressed. They're oppressed. You know, it's money doesn't grow on trees. We know this. We just want to work. We just want to work and build our communities and build our lives, because that's what we do in a free society. We build and we build off each other. So I'd like to personally thank Randy Hillier for coming out here. That is so amazing and brave. And I would absolutely agree with asking Premier Doug Ford where he is. And he absolutely should make an appearance out here, considering that us yahoos are the people who put him in that seat. So for now, we do have a couple more speakers with their personal stories that we would love to have up here on the microphone. Katya. She's going to come up and tell her story, so please stick around. Thank you.
We're just going to go and have a little sit down. I don't know, holding the cameras up's giving me a little bit of a strain, but we'll probably still be able to hear everything that's being said. I just wanted to kind of patch down over here, because there's a CP24. There's the first time the mainstream have been seen in a little while. There they are with their social distancing interview stick. City TV are also here.
Since we've been on the lockdown, I've been...
No, there's no date, I don't think. They're voting on it again, Judy Bell. But that was very interesting, because that was a politician that come out and spoke in support of this movement, and is letting us know that there is some, it is making a little bit of difference. So this is the scenes today.
The rent relief that they promised, the application was only available to fill out last week.
So at least we've got some folks watching. I don't know, I think we got rid of our little circle jerk cut and paste comment dude. If he's still here, let's shut that shit down, Judy Bell. We need that Texan fast draw on that situation. But we're just having a little sit down for a couple of minutes. As I said, believe it or not, standing there holding a stick, after a little while it does start to give you a few strains. It looks like the sun's coming out again a little bit now. Some very weird weather.
Dangerous when people go to Walmart looking for them, and it's not dangerous for some.
Hey, is Nancy here? So let me know, guys. Let me do a little bit of feedback. How's the stream looking? Is it okay? Have you got a... How you doing?
Students who are coming and they're happy to be coming back, but so many people are afraid. They're legitimately afraid of the virus.
Yep, we're good. Okay, sorry, we're just moving around a little bit now. As I said, I'm kind of just trying to...
That's how much people are
get a little bit of a break and sit down. As I say, guys, it doesn't seem like much, but when it's a little bit warm and you're holding a camera steady for that much time, it's kind of like doing a little bit of a workout after a while.
And I'm a criminal next week. So I'll have to lock my doors. I'll have to speak with the students. So if anybody comes, they will have to say it's a gathering and they're not paying me. Like, that's how absurd it is. Yes. This is my story, and I'm pretty
the sun's
sure
coming out. Let me come around on the side where there's some shade.
Businesses like Pilates studio, you can't even do one-on-one class. Fitness studios, massage therapists, they're all affected. And even when we open up, I have no idea what kind of crazy rules they will put in place. Yes, we cannot abide by those rules, and I refuse to do that. We will not social distance in the studio, because when I come and show my...
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I just had to slip a jacket off. It is getting slightly warm now. So I know this isn't the best view, but as I said, I'm overdressed and getting zapped a little bit with the energy. Oh, Nancy, how was your son? We'll talk about that later, actually. But
I'm going to have Vlad
hope everything's good with you.
And talk about a few more issues. And if there's anybody else, please do come and speak to me if you have something you would like to share. It would be wonderful, and we'll try to get you up as soon as possible. Vlad? Thank you.
Hey guys, just to follow up on Randy Hill, I think it's very important for us to really take on the responsibility that every person can make a difference, and we do. If you think about all the movements around the world and the history, started with one person, right? You know, we have Nelson Mandela, we have Martin Luther King, like, you know, individuals start the movement. My favorite saying, if I'll get it right, you know, we all just drops in the ocean, but what was the ocean as a multiple of drops? Right? Think of us like that, like we're part of humanity. We're here representing Ontario, we're here representing Canada, but we're representing humanity around the world. And I said this on Saturday, and I really want everyone to take this on as a badge of honor. We are the light workers. We are shining the light in this unprecedented time of darkness imposed on all the humanity around the world. So it's our responsibility to be that light. And even if you are the only light in a room of darkness, it's okay. Be that light. Be the light for the people. Be the light for the people who are scared. Be the light for the people who are confused. Have compassion for them. Like, the brainwashing that's been going on for the last 3 months is unprecedented. That's what's unprecedented. It's not the virus that is unprecedented. The brainwashing is unprecedented. The media, the mainstream media is on it. This is the first time we actually were able to give interviews to them. We've been protesting for the last 6 weeks. 6 weeks. On the 5th week, we had almost 1,000 people here. We marched the streets. Did anybody see any of that on the news? No. No. Yeah, revolution will not be televised. Thank you, Letitia. That's the truth. And somebody asked me, like, where do I get all the information? Where do I get the credible sources of information? And think about it. Anything that's been censored or suppressed right now is the information you need to seek. When people make posts and then they say, you know, check this out right now before it gets taken off in the next 24 hours, that's what everyone has to do now. And I mean, those people don't realize, now that we're suppressing and they're censoring it, people catching on. They understand that anything that's been suppressed or censored right now is actually the truth. It's actually the truth that people need to see. Anything that goes against World Health Organization is the truth right now, because that's a corrupt organization. So going back to being the light for everyone around us is our responsibility. Have compassion. People are scared. People are brainwashed. I said this before. I was born in Soviet Union. I was born in 1980, so I still grew up first 11 years of Soviet Union. Like, I was subjected to indoctrination of understanding humanism. Communism is a religion for me, right? The Grandpa Lenin crying because my parents didn't want to line up in the streets to see Grandpa Lenin in mausoleum. Can you imagine a 3-year-old being crushed that he cannot see a mummy of a dead person? But that's how indoctrination works at that young age. So when 3 months ago I start seeing mainstream media jokingly talking about masks being on statues, and this is a new norm that we all have to submerge into, and you know, no new norm until we have vaccination, Trudeau said like over and over again. I like, no, please, no. Like, I grew up in this stuff. I'm not gonna allow this. No. Anyone who drives in the streets right now and sees the lines in the store, outside of the stores, this was the Soviet Union. Again, I come from there. I lined up outside of the store to get into the store with stamps because my family was only allowed to buy so much bread, so much butter. At 8 years old, I was lined up in the store. Not that you couldn't buy more. It didn't matter if you had more money. You were only allowed to buy so much bread, butter for the whole month for your family. You had stamps for like a week or whatever. So they created false scarcity to suppress the people. It's happening right now. I discussed before. In the history, in the Nazi Germany, before the Soviet Revolution, guess what happened? The middle class, the business owners got suppressed. Why that's happening right now? Because those people are the free thinkers. They don't like to be told what to do. They always question the status quo. That's why that class is being suppressed economically right now. Because if you economically suppress right now people that would actually rise up and voice their concerns, they're not even going to do that anymore. And as we know, obviously, when you give the free money to the masses, guess what the masses going to do? They're going to submerge any uprising within their own group. That's the strategy. That's why the free money flows to the masses. You know? But let me explain you something very important. Like, you don't even have to go to university to study economics. It's called hyperinflation. You can Google it. Today you don't need to go to university. You can learn anything. Hyperinflation. You know what's going to happen next year? A bread will cost you $10. A loaf of bread will cost you $10. How far your $2,000 will go then? And Chris mentioned this before, and sorry to take your words, but it's a very valid point. Right now, they give you $2,000 without any strings attached. But they're doing it right now. I'll make a very simple comparison. Do you know what the drug dealer does usually? He gives free drugs to his clients to get them hooked onto the supply. So right now, guess what Trudeau is doing? He's hooking up Canada on a free supply of the money with no strings attached. We have literally federal government acting as a drug dealer right now. Like, what do you guys, like, it's crazy what they're doing. They're giving you free money with no strings attached, but guess what's going to happen in a few months? You'll have to do the testing for the COVID. You'll have to have tracing app on your phone. You most likely will have to have a bracelet at workplace so you actually keep the distance from your coworkers. This is all happening. There's a flood of technology on Facebook, like with all the sponsored ads for the temperature check for the offices, for the partitions at the offices, for the bracelets to keep the distance from other people. Like, this is the new norm that they're trying to impose on us. We know all about this, guys. I appreciate everybody being very emotional. This is an extremely emotional matter. Like, it's our life depends on what's happening right now. We are here today specifically discussing reestablishment of our democratic process. That's why we're just focusing on that. That's why we were very happy that Randy Healer came and support us, because he's the only person that I've been following since last week when he became very vocal in his speech in the parliament and the letter that he's writing and the talks that he's doing from his house. I don't see anybody else yet. I'm hoping other people will catch on, because guess what? Remember what I said right now before I started. It starts with one person. We only need one person. That's why we gotta do our best to support Randy Healer, because he's that one person right now in that establishment behind me that's ruining the lives of millions of people. Randy, 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 Randy. It starts with one person. So why does it take one person to do it? Because you give permission to other people to do the same. This is how humanity prevailed over the millennia. It takes one person and you give permission to other people to do the same. So please, be the light for yourself, be the light for your family, for your children, be the light for your community. Even if the darkness is heavy, it's okay. Use the strength from this group. Like, we all have different private chats, It's important to connect it. It's important to stay in touch. It's so important to come to this event, and it's important to come to the Saturdays. I look forward to Saturdays because I can be with other human beings again.
And we have such positive energy.
And we have such positive energy. Kids are running around. Again, my initiative is having 100 kids next Saturday. Please. We had over 50 children for the 2 Saturdays in a row except the last one. Obviously, that's fine. But next Saturday, let's have 100 kids running out in the Queen's Park, have a celebration of life. We'll have kids, we'll have some entertainment, we'll have some music, bongos, whatever. Everyone just being with other human beings. This is what we have to do, and we have to be, again, example to others. Right? Go on Facebook Live, spread the messages. I don't know how many views you get. Mine usually go viral, which is people need to see. Like, we are so lucky in a sense, unfortunate with the situation, but other places around the world don't even have this opportunity. So again, it's our responsibility to show to the world that we can come together as humanity, and we can be example for Ontario, for Canada, and for the whole world. I love you all. Stay healthy.
Thank you so much again, Vlad. That's really what it's about. So we've come together, all these different organizations, under one tent, and that tent is Fearless Ontario. And I'm proud of all of you here today because you are fearless. You are absolutely wonderful. You have a right to be here. You have a right to be heard. You have a right to express your views, and you have a right to oppose the abdication of democracy. We are Canadians. We are supposed to be leading this world in democracy. And what is democracy? It's the only philosophy that can accommodate the best of all others. And for that very same reason, no other philosophy can accommodate democracy. That is very important. Right now, I would like to invite Letitia up here so she can read our mission statement from Fearless Ontario, and everybody can get a clear understanding of what we're really about. Thank you.
Yes!
Thanks, beautiful people. It's so nice to see all of you here today. Believe me, every one of us matters. We will create a rising tide on this planet. It starts small, but it will grow. When you stand for what is right, it will, that will spread. That will spread, guys. Have faith. It's that glass half full philosophy. Sorry, I know I'm not reading the mission statement. I'm just expressing my own thoughts. As a fellow Canadian, we are that glass half full. We are the glass half full people. We focus on the power of the people, on the strength, on our own inner strength, on our own inner power. We are focused on what is right, and we will prevail. Truth and justice and love always win, guys. We are standing for a just cause. And these oppressors will eventually go away. And it takes critical mass and faith that we will reach it sooner rather than later. We have to stand strong, guys. Stand strong. All right, so now thank you very much, Kelly, for giving me the opportunity to read the mission for this beautiful group that got created, guys. It's called Fearless Ontario. Fearless Ontario is a network of independent, non-partisan, concerned citizens who want to fight to preserve our civil liberties and democracy. We are small business owners, moms and dads, students, seniors, and workers of all varieties. Our mission is to provide a rallying cry and organize the silent majority that the media and politicians want to shame into silence. The lockdown must be ended, our parliament must resume, and our civil liberties must be restored. Join us by adding your voice to our network. Find out about rallies happening near you and how you can help us end the state of emergency. Help us band together to have our voices heard. Reopen the economy. Stop government by decree. Return our democracy and our rights now.
Thank you so much, Letitia. And of course, without further ado, I'd like to re-invite Chris Sky up to the microphone.
Oh, we were walking away too soon.
I just wanted to end off today with a little message about solidarity, unity, and community. Everything that's happening to us right now is only possible because the government is using every dark trick at their disposal what they've done has pissed off and subjugated more different factions of Canadians than anything else they've ever done in the history of our country. And their number one fear is everybody coming together and realizing what they're doing isn't right, and we got to stand together to fight it. So we have the mainstream media. Yeah, you guys are here. You're not filming me right now. But you like to characterize our protests on Saturday as racist, far white, all these ridiculous things. We are representing all of Canada. We have every ethnicity, race, gender, age. We have children to seniors. We have business owners, concerned parents, and people simply concerned with the progression of tyranny and the removal of their rights. We've seen terrorist organizations, and I will call it a terrorist organization, like Antifa, trying to incite groups like Black Lives Matter, trying to divide Canada through false racism. There's no racism on a community level. Yes, there are single people here and there in every group that have racist beliefs or prejudiced beliefs. But in Canada, we are one of the most diverse and accepting countries in the entire world. That is not a debate, that is a fact. So these mischaracterizations by the media are not only disingenuous, but they have very sinister intent. And that intent, once again, is division through ignorance, fear, and straight up lies, as we've been seeing. And we're here today to let everybody know that our message is for all Canadians. It doesn't matter which country you're originally from. If you are a Canadian citizen, a Canadian resident, you are a Canadian. And we stand together. We are in this together. Not the ones making the decisions for us that aren't missing a paycheck, that aren't suffering, that aren't even following their own rules. No, it's us. We are in this together. And their only option available is to try to foment division and fighting amongst ourselves, as we saw with those obvious provocateurs screaming and yelling before that we got rid of. But I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to call out the media for their insinuations of racism that they know are completely false. And I'm putting them on notice that we're not going to put up with it anymore. I would love to meet with the leaders of Black Lives Matter. I would love to talk to them about government accountability. I would love to talk to them about ending the lockdown. I'm sure many of them have businesses that have failed. Many of them have people that have lost jobs. We are not going to make this about racism. There is no racism in our group. Our group is about what's best for Canada and Canadians. That's all I want to say.
Fantastic, Chris. Now, once again, I did open up this session of speakers with a little bit of information about myself, so I'm just going to return to that. I am Canadian. My father is a white man with a black man's afro. My mother is Cree, First Nations Cree, and I have white skin. I do represent what Canada is about, as well as everybody else. There is no racism. The racist, systematic problems that exist in our country are on policy. That's where they exist. They don't exist within our people. Canada is known for not being racist. We are known for loving one another. We are known for learning and understanding the value in our differences, because that is how we evolve. And that is why we once were the country most revered out of the entire world. We set an example of democracy. It didn't matter where you went. If you were Canadian, you were accepted, loved, and welcomed with open arms. That is what Canada is. That is who we are, and that is what we are going to return to. Period. So and on Saturday, I would like to say this, with the march that happened with Black Lives, we were standing here with open arms in full support, hoping to welcome them. So we were really disappointed to find out they changed their mind in showing up here, because there was hundreds of us sitting here waiting and willing to join in the cause and show 100% solidarity. And I just wanted to make that very, very clear. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here once again today. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll return shortly thereafter. That way we can all get a little more acquainted with each other. So thank you very much.
Ooh. Okie dokie, so a little break. Let's go grab my bag, some water. I'm live right now, brother, on YouTube.
What's your channel? Because I missed the first part.
Thrift Store Prepper.
Who said that?
Thrift Store Prepper.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Okay, there you go. How you doing? Listen, let me go grab my bag. Let me go find somewhere. Oh look, here comes CP24, look, the mainstream. Here for a change. Where have you been for 6 weeks? But that's what I want to do, go find somewhere.
She's like calling us out as thirsty.
Sorry, miss.
Yeah. She's like, why are you upset?
So let me go find a little bit. There's some shade over here. That's what I need right now. Somewhere to sit down and have a little bit of shade. See who's in the... Actually, there's closer shade over here.
Something I wanted to say on Saturday, some of you may have seen, I was here with all of you. There was one, thank you, there was one point I didn't say, because I was really up here to try to unite everyone, regardless of your religion, beliefs, whatever. Whether you believe in a creator or don't believe in a creator.
Okay. So that's where I'm going to go and get that little bit of shade over there. Because once again the sun has come out. It wasn't supposed to. The weather forecast said it was going to be grey and overcast and raining this afternoon. So I were dressed approximately, and honest to God guys, it's fucking zapped me again of my energy. Hey Walking Tall, Kelly Kebo, Judy Bell, Crying Hippie was here I see a little earlier. Oh good God. Hopefully you can still hear. Oh my God, someone's coming.
If we all just drop to one knee, the moment someone starts getting violent, imagine 1,000 people dropping to one knee with their phones on the person who's doing the provocateur. The person who's trying to instigate violence.
Biznatch over there screaming and shouting.
Other ones dropping to their knees. The people trying to take fight are trying to instill violence so that martial law can be ushered in, and then we have no rights at all. So let's be clear, this has to be peaceful, we have to unite. As I said on Monday, if we're living, if we stop living in order to live, we're already dead.
I know you probably can't hear him, Nancy. I just explained I come away from there. I was in direct sunlight for the last hour. That has drained my energy. Standing up, holding a camera doesn't sound like a very, very tedious task. But believe you me, guys, once you do it for like 20 minutes, your arms get heavy, your back gets heavy. But let's go and see this crazy biznatch that is... fuck me, I can't sit down for a second before something comes and kicks off. But that's what I'm saying. That's directly... in the sunlight, and there she is. There was a lady that was screaming. She's just heading away. Of course she heads away because I got up to come and see what she's screaming about. There's a simulated reality right now. So is she another one of these provocateurs? Who knows? But as I said, guys, it's a little bit warm. I'm sorry if you can't hear anything, but I think the main speakers have spoken. And as I said, I wanted to come and just sit down a little bit so you can see the protest a little bit still. I don't know, Walking Tall. Saturday there were some suspicions that there were some agent provocateurs here. There were some sort of individuals I haven't noticed before. But here today we've seen like 3 sort of individuals that kind of seem to be acting on cue to scream and shout and disrupt some of the stuff. Thank you, Kaz. As I said, guys, I do need to sit down. My back is killing me. I didn't sleep great last night, and as I said, when I left the home this morning it was only 14 degrees and feeling cold. It's about 24 or 23 now. And as I said, when you're dressed in a body warmer and sort of dark clothing, it doesn't really help matters when it is as hot. So I'm not sure how long we're going to keep around here. As I said, I did want to just come and sit down. Kaz, you're in the UK, right? If I'm correct in thinking. So yeah, it's got to be about 5, 6 o'clock there, maybe 4, 5 o'clock. I don't know what the time is here right now. Was it 12:44, nearly 1 o'clock? So we did get here and hear some of the main speakers. We can see in the distance, I don't know if you can see, but CP24 are here interviewing. Those goons get paid 15 a riot. Good money if you can get it, brother. I used to riot for free back in the early days of in England when I was young, full of cum, full of testosterone, full of a little bit of that aggression. But yeah, it's you're in Preston, 7:44, 5:44. Okay, so early evening in the UK. So as I said, guys, we got here, we managed to hear the majority of the speakers. There are a couple of speeches that maybe, you know, people aren't professional public speakers. They're not, you know, these are just regular ordinary people that have come here today. I don't mean to say they're ordinary in a derogatory say, but these are just regular everyday folks. None of these people were kind of politicians or government officials or anything like this before this protest, and it's the sort of people on the street that have come together to form this little movement. So as I said, some of the people, they were struggling through fear and anxiety, maybe to stand in front of a public, and there's not hundreds of people here, but even though standing in front of that, it can be a very, very daunting task. I still find it a little bit daunting talking on the camera myself. So how's the stream been today? The film quality, I haven't seemed to been having as many glitches as I did on Saturday, and I do believe that possibly on Saturday, due to the fact there was a BLM march, that they were messing around with the data signals here to make it a little bit glitchy, so that maybe some of this stuff couldn't get out or be streamed live. So as I said, I just wanted to come and have a little sit down and smoke, because honest to God, guys, that it's been good. That's awesome. It's been a lot better than Saturday. So there was a little while when I first got here and started, I don't know if it was smooth, running smoothly or not, and didn't have any comments for quite some time. So I'm glad we have got a few. What is it saying? 9 folks watching now. Who knows who's watching outside of the chat? So as I said, guys, I'm not sure or entirely sure if I'm going to keep going around, keep this stream going much longer. No one knows how long it's been running for either. Thank you, Kaz. Yeah, like I said, guys, I might sort of stick around for a little bit and do some recording perhaps. Let's have a little look where I am. There's some buildings here, look, some trees. We are in government grounds. There's the flag of Ontario flying up there. I don't know. You can see there's a Canadian flag. Some of these, you know, the clouds again. See what I'm saying? There's a big pocket of that cloud there. There is a close-up of the Queen's Park building. Maybe find someone with more Canadian knowledge might be able to shed some light on that. As I said, that possibly wasn't the best places to have sat either. I feel more uncomfortable than ever. Here we are looking down at downtown. So yeah, that was a very, very good stream. Some very, very interesting speakers there. Let me just come and show you this. Just give you a little look as to where we are right now. Can you see that clearly, guys? It's Queen's Park. Goth and pagan. So here are the grounds. Seeing a little girl sitting under the bush. Sometimes people come here on their lunch breaks, and we've got a lot of businesses around, hospitals and stuff. All right, let's see if that's better. I was zoomed in, I didn't even realize that for a while. So the sun is still out. There is still people here. I might be able to sit behind that side of the statue and maybe get a few people to say a few words before we do leave and sign off. There's the building again. Still see a few folks sat around here. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, man.
I just want to find some shade. They lied to us again. When I left, it said it was going to be like 14, 15 degrees, and now it's like...
I would have taken my bike if I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just finishing up my stream. That was a good messages today. I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, you need to meet this guy, but you already have. The right people sometimes generate. Yeah. So let those guys enjoy their privacy and their conversation. But that was Lamont, and oh my goodness, I've forgotten his name already. Luca. That's the guy. It's a very nice park. Oh, that's better. Beautiful bit of shade and somewhere to sort of sit down and take the weight off. So here we can see there's a City News. The CP24 folks are just leaving. That's CBC down there. So for the first time in weeks, we've seen a little bit of mainstream media here. And again, there is the building. That's what I'm looking at right now. Damn, I can't type. It's all right, Judy. We'll let you off, darling. It's 66 and sunny. It's feeling a lot hotter than 66. Crying hippie, especially in dark pants. Oh, I've got my jeans on. But anyway, I think on that note, I'm going to end this stream because I think we've heard everybody that has spoken, and rather than just keep streaming for the sake of it, let's wrap this up and wish you all a good day. So guys, thank you for who did join in. I've got to figure out how to stop this again. This is always the tricky part. Thanks for watching Ship Video Productions, TSP.